know enough about the production of the garden yet.
Yeah.
We talk about that. I don't want to interrupt the meeting. So
You're so kind.
keep that in mind, in the back of my mind while we run through this, okay?
Definitely, thank you.
So I didn't get a chance to tell you much about Amy and her give to the city. So I'll call it community garden, 8 years worth. And I'm upset at the city on that issue as well. So if I remember correctly, we're still waiting to get together with one of the council person to start to see how we can assist her in full devotion on the community garden. And this is what I'm saying. And little by little, or leaps and bounds, the city's been backing out on support to this. So the out of her time, out of her pocket, it's just really sad. Was I accurate?
Good, accurate. And you know what? We're gonna make one step at a time.
That's right.
Jay, good to see you. How you doing?
Sometimes when I can't be here.
I'm great, I'm great. Guess what? I'm a resident.
She's just working on it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have, hey, next year when my lease is up, hey, we can talk.
Yeah,
Our invitation dinner's coming up.
that's true. Yes.
I'm actually, you know where I'm at? I'm right next door to you.
Oh, really?
So maybe in a year's time after it's built,
All the
hop over there.
servants we got those all ready to go.
Would you like to be involved?
That would sound pretty sweet.
You too. And your name one more time. Ashley Jane.
Once you anytime
Thanks.
Okay.
you're gonna say, Jay,
Hello, Mr. J. How are you?
good, how about yourself? It's so good to see your smiling face as always.
I was just telling Jay that I am now a resident of the city.
Oh, yeah. Right
So
next door.
I'll be coming to planning commission.
So we gotta make you a resident as
I
well,
know.
and I can help you with that.
I'm listening.
I'm serious.
Okay, I'm listening and I'm serious.
Okay, then let's talk.
Okay. Here, in Loma,
Yeah,
home,
you know,
or sale.
or do you wanna rent or do you wanna buy?
I prefer buy.
Okay, I don't have, I'll have to talk to see if I can turn it into a lease option to buy, but this guy never sells so far.
Okay. Okay.
But brand new,
Brand new too.
brand new.
Okay, yeah, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
Is it saying
I know you were looking at.
So, yeah. And when we sit and talk about it, immediately I'll get closer where it's at and who's involved, and you're gonna say, Jay, no way, or let's keep talking and work out the bugs.
Okay. One of those.
I'm really not trying to be mysterious, I'm trying to be politically correct.
Should open the door.
Oh my gosh, it's not open?
No.
Okay. We're all waving and they're just trying to get in. Okay. You know how to open a gate?
I believe so.
You might like the deal.
I like deals. Okay. When do we talk? In a couple weeks?
It's up to you.
When I'm ready.
It's up to you.
Sounds good. Yeah, I went to Costa Rica for 2 weeks. I
I'm sorry?
said I was in Costa Rica for a couple of weeks for the holiday.
Look at you.
So I just got back, so I'm still trying to catch up. And I'm in a comfortable place again to talk. So maybe in a week or two.
It's up to you. It's up to you. You know, regularly, Tuesdays are difficult for me because that's when I'm taking Cindy.
And that's far.
It's a, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and get back at 10 o'clock at night thing.
So do you drink coffee? Do you guys drink coffee?
Today is what you're here. I know.
I don't know why. The experience coffee makes the experience better. That's why.
Well, for me,
To wake up that early.
yes, it
Trying to think of what
gets my brain.
what makes it better.
Yeah, don't worry.
Hi. You ready?
Just-
You ready just in case? Any questions?
Always.
Okay, good. As you guys know, campus seems to be a little bit easier and faster. So I don't have too many questions.
I was, either lazy, stupid, or didn't have time to find the agenda. So what item?
We know item
To be what?
to be approved. That's the hope.
There you go, I like that.
In the public hearing sections.
Yeah, just number 2 in public hearings.
Versus the term period, and then when you guys are next. Just to be clear.
It'll be nice and quick.
We would compromise with our.
That's the goal.
You're scaring me.
Well, the longer it goes, then that's more questions.
Yeah. So I would predict summer questions as commission, except for ADA questions.
Oh, yeah. Except for
And we're incorporating the comment about the access point on the west end connecting development, so for the requested plan commission, and I think that should cover the 2 points of access.
As you saw, without your repeat, Doug has the most valuable information. And it'll be interesting to see the questions are asked.
it would be, yeah. Now, this presentation is gonna be, like half the time, so half the amount of slides, because council likes them a little bit shorter. So we might not provide as much information, but
Less of the.
we'll see what they're asking.
More of the pretty picture.
The planning commission, I was really disappointed.
As it should be, right?
I didn't take the opportunity to step up and thank staff for all of their hard work. I don't want to miss that opportunity this time, okay?
Like, Jay, you had a comment?
Please.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm gonna turn it over to Jay for some
Yeah.
positive
Please,
comments.
please. Because I felt nervous of what was going on and key to thank staff, and all that stuff.
Yeah, maybe
all that
because
stuff
they,
got in
when
the
they
way.
send you out, and you were probably waiting for that. Your mind sits around.
Well, at least that's over, and for the next ones, you'll be back. I don't know if it's that.
I even stuck my fingers in there trying to open it. That, security's gonna come after me. Right. Hey, Jared.
So this is
Which is preferred?
well,
Depends.
the biggest damage that occurred in the Venus, she asked for some input. Was specific. I'm so sorry for her.
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't recognize me, but he and I were in the thick of things for all this stuff that I want to say triggered property insurance and all of this.
Primarily because of his, what's it called? Lobbying.
There's stuff along. No. I mean, it's not.
We started planting ourselves over here.
Okay.
Join you.
I'll join you.
How about if I trip you?
Go ahead. What are you doing here?
I'm trying to be as successful as.
Milton, who's Milton?
Got it? Thank you.
Milford. There you go. He was close. Again, because you've been avoiding me so long, I skipped a couple letters at the end of your name.
Sit right behind you, make sure you behave yourself.
They're all, Krista. They're all police. Nice to meet you all. My partner.
I'm faculty, we can yell.
Oh, they just came on.
There you go.
Oh, too bad.
All right, good evening. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, the regularly scheduled Loma Linda Council meeting.
I'm just storing that. Can't turn them off. It's not for you.
Oh, now we can't turn them off.
So we just have to be quiet.
Hold all your personal thoughts to yourself. Okay, we will begin with a report from our closed session, which we started at 6 o'clock. I'm going to defer to our city attorney.
Anyway, the council met in closed chamber to discuss potential litigation on a particular case. Staff provided information to the council and direction was given to staff. Other than that, I have nothing else to see.
Oh, looks like it's working now.
It just came on for you. Okay, thank you very much. We'll start with our roll call. Madam Clerk.
Go for it.
Nope, not yet.
Go, come.
All right, we're working on some audio issues. After we do our roll call, we'll have the invocation and pledge of allegiance led by Dr. Rigsby. And then that'll move us into the non-agendized public participation part.
With the Zoom hybrid Zoom phone number. The Zoom phone number that I can dial in. I'm gonna try it. It may work, it might not work.
We don't
I
have,
can call in through the hybrid.
but we don't have
Do you
that.
have a hybrid tonight?
Mm-mm.
The man back there is not doing it?
No.
No?
Yeah, no, we're not able to. My apology with the technical difficulties with the mics. I can turn them all on manually. Right now he's working on it, but I can turn them on manually. Yep.
They're on, I don't think we can turn them off. so,
No.
Yeah.
I'll have to turn them on and off, so if,
So you can,
I can leave them on.
We probably need to leave them on for
Okay.
the purposes of the recording and the internet, so.
if we start getting lots of feedback, you'll have to turn them off.
Okay, I will keep listening out for that. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry for these issues. It was working earlier when we were doing a test. I'll take roll. Councilmember Spencer.
Present.
Councilmember Popescu.
Here.
Councilmember Rigsby.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly.
Here.
Mayor Duper.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Rigsby, would you please lead us in the pledge and invocation?
Bow your heads. Dear Lord, we thank you once again for your presence in our chambers to help us make the right decisions. We ask that these decisions provide progress for our citizens who richly deserve that. And we ask these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. City Manager, are there any items to be added or deleted? All right, this brings us to the public participation portion of our meeting. This is for anyone wishing to speak on a non-agendized item. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. And Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker slips?
Yes, we have 3 speakers. Excuse me, we have Brianna Juden Patel and Christopher Juden Patel and Laura. So we will begin with Brianna.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Brianna Juden Pytel, and I appreciate the time you've already given to the State Street tree issue, and I understand the council has ruled on our request. However, I'm here tonight because since the last time this issue was discussed, I have received and reviewed the records requests made to the city of Loma Linda. After careful review, I believe it's important to correct several material facts, not as a personal attack, but because accurate information matters when decisions affect public safety, private property, and public trust. I'm echoing. I believe the council was not fully informed when making their decision. So there are 4 pieces of information that I would like to review with you all tonight from the 10/14 City Council meeting. First, regarding the condition and safety of the tree, it was stated that an arborist inspection and report had been conducted. However, after receiving records from the city, it was clear there is no arborist report, there is no arborist inspection, and no written documentation showing that a credentialed arborist evaluated this tree. The only evaluation appears to have been conducted by city staff. I'm not questioning staff's dedication, but tree risk assessment is a specialized credentialed discipline, and the city policy relies on these professional evaluations to support these decisions. Second, the cost information provided to the council was inaccurate. It was stated on the 10/14 meeting on the record that removal would cost approximately $20,000. However, records obtained through this request show that 6 days prior to this council meeting, a quote for $2,200 was obtained by staff for the full tree removal. Additionally, 12 days prior to this city council meeting, the arborist report quote was obtained, which was also approximately $1,800. Both these quotes existed at the time the $20,000 estimate was presented to this council. This highlights misinformation and a clear discrepancy in the decision outcome as cost was a significant factor in the council's deliberation. As one council member noted at the time, you can get 3 repairs for the cost of killing the tree. I'm not going to make it. Okay. Third, statements regarding infrastructure impact were also inconsistent with the city's own documentation. I ran out of time. Probably another minute and a half. All right, thank you so much. At the October 14th City Council meeting, the city manager stated that the damage was not in the city's side of responsibility. However, the city utilities superintendent report determined there was a leak between the meter and my home. This finding directly contradicts what was previously stated by the city manager, which indicated no such issue existed. Again, this is not my interpretation. It's the city's own written report. Fourth, the justification for denial does not align with how similar tree removal cases have been handled. 3 trees on my street and another elsewhere in Loma Linda are documented removals for the same reasons cited in my request, which was safety, risk, and infrastructure. I presume those decisions are made objectively, equitably, and in accordance with the city policy. However, when similar circumstances result in different outcomes, it raises reasonable concerns about the equal application of the city policy to residents. Lastly, my goal tonight is not to relitigate emotions or address prior remarks about tree aesthetics or its comparison to other cities. My goal is accuracy. The council deserves complete and correct information when making decisions, and based on the records now available, I don't believe that happened. I'm asking the council to reconsider this matter, or at a minimum, have an independent credentialed arborist evaluation completed so the record can be corrected. I would strongly prefer to resolve this here, transparently and cooperatively, rather than having these discrepancies examined in a different forum. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for letting me continue.
Of course, thank you. All right, Christopher. And I would just, that's okay. I would just ask that since we allowed your wife to go along, that you just don't repeat anything. If you have new information, we'd appreciate that.
No worries. I appreciate you letting her finish up. It was just in case we ran out of time. Thank you, guys.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. All right, and Laura, I don't have a last name.
Hi, thank you so much, Council, for allowing me to come and talk. I have 3 things that I wanted to address in Loma Linda. Traffic, trash, and trees, the 3 T's. I live on Hillcrest off of Lawton, and it's fairly quiet except for Lawton. The traffic on Lawton, there's a lot of traffic, and they go very fast. And it's 35 miles per hour, but a lot of times I believe it's at least 45 or 55 by some people, not everyone, but a lot of people. I wrote a letter to the Traffic Advisory Committee last year. I didn't hear anything back from them. And I also went to the sheriff's office in San Bernardino, and I put in a request for more supervision. And I saw a few people, a few sheriffs out a couple of times, but I know they have a lot going on, probably more important than Lawton. But I feel that this is a residential neighborhood. There's kids, there's dogs and pets, there's people, there's elderly people. They're out on the sidewalks, they're driving on the roads, and I don't feel it's safe. And especially on Hillcrest. My mom lives on Hillcrest. She's 85. She's a good driver. But recently she pulled out. There was a car. That people park along Lawton as well. And when she saw that it was clear, she pulled out. But there was somebody that she couldn't see going very fast on Lawton. And because of the cars, she couldn't see them down the street, the parked cars. And she pulled out. They slammed on their brakes, they swerved, and they yelled out obscenities to her for getting in the way. But if they hadn't been going so fast, I don't believe that would have happened. I know someone told me at one time there was a stop sign there on Hillcrest and Lawton, and I would ask that that be put back, and also that the miles per hour could be lessened. Down at the hospital, I notice it's 25 miles per hour, and a lot of residential areas are 25 miles per hour. And I just feel that would help. I think people use Lawton maybe as a bypass for Barton sometimes too, maybe coming out of the canyon. It just seems like the traffic is a lot. And maybe they want to avoid the stoplights, so they're using Barton as they're going to work and back. I don't know, but I think if the speed limit was lessened and there were physical things that help people slow down. I mean, it's just one straight shot down there with nothing to hold them back. And I just feel like it's dangerous and that something needs to be done there with it. Is my time run out? Okay, so maybe I'll come back later and talk about trash and trees.
Real quick, can you abbreviate it maybe? The trash and the trees.
The trash, I just would like to see a program. I appreciate the street sweeper that comes along I think somebody told me once a month. And I have called in to the city about different things. Up at the top of Crestview, there was kind of a mess, and they came and they cleaned it up beautifully. I know they try real hard at Hold the Crooks to pick up trash. I walk down Lawton 3 or 4 times a week, and I usually pick up a sack of trash walking down the road. When I get off at Tippecanoe and Mountain View, usually there's a lot of trash around the entrance and exits of that. The other day I was at the corner where Walmart is, the food Walmart, on the corner of Barton and Mountain View, and I saw some trash. So I grabbed a bag and I was picking it up. It ended up, that gazebo that's right there on the corner and the bus stop, that corner right there was a shopping cart full by the time I was done of trash. And I would just ask maybe that we pay a lot of property tax, and I know it goes to a lot of good things, and I appreciate all that you do for the city of Loma Linda. But I would just ask, is there something else that we could do more consistently to pick up some of these areas and make it a little cleaner? Shall I come back for trees at another time?
Maybe.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
of course.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think that we'll wrap it up unless we want to do Lynette Test. We have another speaker? Oh, come on down. Lynette, I'm joking, but did you see the one that you have up there? Okay.
Sorry, softball tonight from Riverside, so a little late.
All right.
My name is Capri Weecamp. I reside at 24666 University Avenue. I came in, I think, in November about parking and like the red zones. And I wanted to just express my thank you and gratitude because those red zones did get painted. It's been extremely helpful. Some people are still colorblind though, but Emily has been fantastic. I call her every day at 8:30, and then they give out those tickets to those students. So, but yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for getting those red curves painted. It's been a huge help. University Avenue. It's the north side, so yeah. Yeah, so just wanted to say thank you so much for getting that done for us. So it's a huge help to the safety.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our regularly scheduled items. Beginning with our public hearing, number 2A, which is a council bill to introduce on first reading a plan to amend planning commission terms from 3 years to 4 years. Mr. City Manager, or Lorena, I'm sorry, who's going to take it?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Gabriel Rivera. I'm the Associate Planner for the city, and I am here to talk about a request to amend Title II of the Loma Linda Municipal Code, specifically Section 2.24.03, which is related to the term periods for Planning Commission members. The purpose of the amendment is intended to address some inconsistencies that have developed in Planning Commission appointment cycles during the COVID-19 pandemic period, and to establish a more stable, predictable, and consistent structure moving forward. Currently, the municipal code provides for initial staggered appointments of 1, 2, and 3 years, with all subsequent terms being set at 3 years. During the pandemic, several reappointments were delayed or consolidated, which disrupted the intended staggering and resulted in multiple term periods expiring at the same year. Staff has evaluated the issue and is proposing to amend the code to establish a uniform 4-year term period for Planning Commission members, and to also be consistent with the term period set for council. Some of the key items that will be changed as part of this amendment. It would establish, like I mentioned, a 4-year term period for all Planning Commission members, aligning them with the term periods for City Council. 2, it would implement a standardized and predictable staggering structure, and ensuring that no more than 3 terms expire at a given year. And 3, it would retain the existing procedure for filling vacancies and allow commissioners to continue serving until a successor is appointed, ensuring continuity in the event of appointment delays. And then lastly, it would set the terms to begin on July 1st of the appointment year and expire on June 30th of the 4th year. To implement this transition without removing any current commissioners, the 3 seats currently set to expire simultaneously in 2026 would receive a 1-year extension to 2027, allowing the new staggering pattern to begin without disruption in 2027. This item had previously been reviewed by the Planning Commission back on December 17th at that hearing, and it was unanimously recommended approval by the Planning Commission. In conclusion, this amendment, again, is intended to restore consistency following the disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic, align the term periods with the City Council's term periods, and establish a manageable and predictable appointment process moving forward. Therefore, staff and the Planning Commission recommend to the City Council that they determine that the proposed amendment is not a project under the California Environmental Quality Act, and to adopt Council Bill O-2026-01, which would amend Title 2.24 of the Loma Linda Municipal Code. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions any council members may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Real quick, it's a public comment item, so let's open the public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward. All right, not seeing anybody, we'll now bring it to the dais.
How do you guys notify people when you have an opening? Because I've been in the city for many years, and oftentimes I'm not aware that you have an opening, which may be why there's not a lot of applicants.
I'll pass that to Lynette.
Thank you. What we do is normally when we have, it's usually once a year. If we have any vacancies, we'll bring it to council to approve the posting of the vacancies. So we post it in the newspaper, we'll post it on our website. We reach out to our current members and for their interest to reapply, or if they have any referrals, and then they submit their applications to us. We usually post it for about 30 to 60 days, depending on how many applications we receive. But that's usually the process.
So one of the things I might recommend, even though I'm for 4-year, is basically figuring out a broader scope, because most people are not reading a newspaper now. I don't know your traffic to your website. I'm guessing, you're missing a large part of the population that would really want to know that these vacancies are open. And that doesn't just go for your planning commission, it goes for all of your committees. So just an idea.
I was when I was reading the staff report, I didn't see in there, and I figured we would have some dialogue about it tonight, where the original 3-year idea came from. And there has to have been some thought process behind it. And was it to stagger against the council elections? I mean, there had to have been a reason. So I'm actually looking at Dusty because he's been around probably the longest. Just curious.
According to the whereases, it happened a year before I was elected, so I don't know what it was about. And it was after Milford was off the council, so I don't think there's anybody here can attest to it.
Yeah, I was just curious. I'm sure there was some type of process or thought that came into it, but I'm not opposed to a 4-year term either. Obviously, council, is one thing, and planning commission is almost pretty close to being a council member. You have to comply with the same filing requirements and all of that as a regular council member. So there's a lot of extra stuff that comes along with it. And so it's typically not one of those things that you just want to rotate people through every year. Definitely, I've never heard of that anywhere in any other city, but I was just curious why we had a 3-year deal.
We could do a little bit of research and get back to you on that.
It's not important. It's not important. If we didn't have the answer here, I wasn't going to push it. So, all right. Do we have any motion or other comments?
Move the item.
Dr. Riggs.
I'll second.
He was just waiting for his mic to come on.
Yeah.
My apologies doing all this. Motion is to determine that the proposed code amendment does not qualify as a project under CEQA, and to introduce Council Bill O-2026-01 on first reading and set the second reading to February 10th, 2026, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, California, amending in part Title II, Administration and Personnel, Chapter 2.24.030, Terms of Members Filing Vacancies of the Loma Linda Municipal Code. I will take your vote, please.
We vote on both readings, I think. This is to set it for the date for the second reading.
Motion carried unanimously. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to 2B. 2B, which is a new development we're looking at.
We do have a PowerPoint presentation for this one, so we'll wait till it comes on screen. I'll say next slide. Okay, so tonight's item is going to be for Master Development Application 2024-0008 and Precise Plan of Design P21247, which is for the proposed Zanja Heritage Project. This request is for the review of the architectural elevations and site configuration of the 66-unit multifamily project located along Barton Road within the high-density R3 zoning designation. Next slide. Thank you. The applicant is proposing a 66-unit multifamily apartment development consisting of 4 3-story buildings located between California and New Jersey Street in an area designated for high-density residential development under the general plan. The site is a strategic infill location surrounded by existing residential and commercial uses. To the east, we have the Barton Vineyard Apartments, which is the residential portion. To the west, we have the commercial development where the Arco is at. And then to the south, we have the vacant lot, which is zoned for commercial. Next slide. So looking at this project at a glance, like I mentioned, the project consists of 66 units. It will be on a 5.15 acre lot and is consistent of 4 total buildings with 3 stories in size. There will be a unit range of 730 square feet to 1,097, and total parking provided for the development would be 155 spaces, whereas the code requires 145. In regards to common area open space, approximately 99,000 square feet of open space is being provided as part of this project. Next slide. Here is the overall project layout. As I discussed, there is 4 buildings situated at the center of the site with drive aisles surrounding it. In the back area towards the north end of the site is the drainage basin, which consists of the drainage basin for the site, a DG trail that wraps around the circumference of the drainage basin, along with various amenities throughout the development. Next slide. The floor plans for the units consist of 6 total unit configurations. Here are 3 examples of some of those unit configurations. Like I mentioned, they range from 730 square feet at the lowest to 1,097 at the highest. There is also ADA accessible ground units available in the buildings as well. Next slide. The architectural design of the development is consistent with the direction from the Historical Commission, which requested that the design is in line with the Mission Revival style, and the project is taking cues from the Ascendencia in Redlands. The key elements as part of this design include Spanish clay tile roofing, a smooth stucco finish in a warm neutral color, decorative wrought iron details, prominent archways, and tower features, among other architectural features. This architecture reflects the regional historic influences and complies with the Mission Historical Overlay District. Next slide. Here's another example of this view is facing from Barton Road. What you see on the left-hand side is Building 1A, and what you see on the right-hand side is Building 2. Next slide. Regarding amenities, there are various amenities being provided as part of this project, such as a clubhouse, fitness center, child care room, along with outdoor features such as a dog park, playground, outdoor fitness stations, and recreational areas such for ping pong and foosball courts. Shown here in the middle are the 2 courtyard areas centered in between the buildings. So in between the 2 north buildings, there will be 1 courtyard, and in between the 2 south buildings, there will be another courtyard. Next slide. Regarding landscaping, the landscaping plan emphasizes drought-tolerant landscaping and climate-appropriate planting with trees and shrubs and accent planting that are integrated into the courtyard, walkways, and amenity areas. And as I mentioned previously, the decomposed granite path shall perimeter the drainage basin, allowing residents an area for walking. There will also be gazebos and patio structures available to provide shading for residents to sit. Next slide. Now, regarding the findings, staff has made the required findings for the project and found that the project is consistent with the general plan and zoning of the city. It is consistent and has received Historical Commission approval at the previous November 3rd, 2025 meeting. The project was also reviewed at the Planning Commission meeting in December of 2025 and received a recommendation of approval with the condition that the applicant install a egress exit at the west end of the site. The project had also been reviewed for consistency with the General Plan Update EIR under CEQA Guidelines Section 15183. And the Fire, Building, and Public Works Department have all reviewed and confirmed that the project is consistent with their standards. Lastly, the conditions of approval will ensure that the project is not detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding community. Next slide. Therefore, based on the staff report and the recommendations of both the Historical Commission and the Planning Commission, staff recommends that the City Council first find the project consistent with the General Plan Update EIR under CEQA Guidelines Section 15183, and secondly, approve the Certificate of Appropriateness and Precise Plan of Design for the proposed 66-unit Zaha Heritage Village development, subject to the attached conditions of approval. I'm here to answer any questions council members may have, and the applicant, Jay Nelson, is here as well, along with Doug Goodman, to answer any questions that you guys may have. Thank you very much.
Okay, this is a public hearing item also, so we'll open a public hearing, invite anyone to speak on it if they wish. We do have a speaker. Yes, ma'am. Brianna?
My concern with this is the traffic on California Street. There is an elementary school there. I happen to be a parent. For many years, I have watched that site grow, and as our lovely community grows and we develop more housing, more playgrounds, and things like that, we've also seen an increase in traffic. So I am curious what that traffic report said, because it's pretty horrendous during drop-off and pickup times. People get angry and impatient. And I don't know if that falls within the district to maybe move the site so that there's other entries and exits for parents. I don't know, but that's my concern. So what did the traffic report say?
Yes, so a traffic report was conducted by the Gandini Group and found that the project complied with the Measure V and found that the level of service would be at a level of service of C or better, therefore deeming that it would not be a detrimental traffic effect to California Street or Barton Road.
Can you say that simpler? What does that mean?
Yeah, so basically there is a requirement under Measure V that requires all projects to be undergo a traffic study to analyze if the streets are being impacted. Basically what that means is that they have to achieve a level of service of C or better, so it's a grading system. And the project had been determined that it would not cause a detrimental effect to the current grades of the site of the Barton Road in California, meaning that they stay consistent at a C grade or better.
And that takes into consideration all the way down California.
There are certain intersections as part of the traffic report that are analyzed. Barton Road and Orange Avenue would be one. California and Orange Avenue, Barton Road and California Street, and then Barton Road and New Jersey Street are the ones that were analyzed as part of the report.
The only entrance is off Barton. Entrance and exit is on Barton.
Okay.
And so some of that traffic is probably going to turn on to California and impact the Mission School District. I think that's your question.
Right. So I'm just curious if our residency count increases, we're bringing more families in, which means that it has to have more space within the elementary school because that's most likely going to be their school. But it's just a tiny site. The parking lot's not that great.
So just real quick, and we can't spend too much time on this, but fun fact, school districts are autonomous to cities and can do whatever they want.
Okay.
We have no authority over what they do. And another fun fact is Dr. Rigsby, several years ago when he was actually the mayor, they tried to arrange a land swap deal with Mission to give them some land that we owned at the time. And we would have taken that corner and tried to develop it into some commercial use because we felt it was better fitted for that. I don't think there's anybody, even at the school district, that would try to argue with you and say that's not an ideal location for a school.
Yeah.
With the freeway close and the traffic and all the other issues that they have there. But they staunchly refused and did not want to even communicate with us for a while. So school districts can do what they want to a sense. We are unfortunately responsible for the traffic. And there is a plan to widen California as we can, based on some of those property owners giving us easement and all that. But that doesn't help it in the interim. And so unfortunately, it's just kind of a mess down there. So I'm acknowledging that you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But to another degree, we also don't have a lot of control over a lot of these building projects because we have state mandates that say we have to build housing. And so it's a very difficult place for us to navigate now as a city when we don't have a lot of control. So I'm not saying that we can't look at that and that it hasn't been looked at, but yes, it's complex.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Thank you for clarifying.
And if you have any ideas on how to fix that traffic, let us know. I think everybody would be interested.
I think we've done all we can. I've been a parent there for probably the last 12 years, 13 years. Our oldest is going to graduate high school. So we've watched it get busier. And so there's the cones that stop parents from pulling out, or or an attempt to prevent them from pulling out or going the wrong way. But the entrance is where it gets backed up. And so oncoming, going down California, where they're not going to the school, they just want to get through.
Yeah, I don't want to sound NIMBY-ish, but I was talking to Minerva over the holidays.
Love her.
And
Okay.
she knows she's not there anymore.
I know.
But that school in particular is experiencing, she was telling me, a lot more students that are coming from San Bernardino. So that whole interbusing kind of thing, not that it's busing, but my point is that there's a lot of parents, and a lot of people, and a lot of students there that probably don't even live in our community. What she was sharing with me. And then number two is there is a plan to add some type of internal kind of flow with some of the stuff that's going to be coming in. Hopefully, at least that. Don't look at me like you don't know what I'm talking about. I've talked to Jarva about this because we have some more development that's happening there internally. And although we can't immediately do some stuff as some of that development comes in, there's talk about some circulation that can happen for at least for the people that live in some of the new homes over there. And so that may alleviate some of the traffic too. But you got to think that, people only have kids in school for so long. And if you stay in a house for a long period of time, we may run that dry. So I'm not sure how that's all going to work, but
I think
there is thought about it.
And it has changed and evolved. I think, site-wide, like I said, they put more cones up. Parents have to be in a certain lane. They're out there getting kids to make, get in, get out as fast as possible. Sometimes we have to call the sheriffs.
One of the, well, we're way off of the topic.
I'm sorry.
One of the complications is that's actually a truck route. And so you see a lot of truck traffic that goes up to the dump in San Mateo, goes up California as well.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So
that explains
more stuff for you to research.
Too. Okay. Well, it's my last year there as a parent, so I'm just letting you know. But it's.
If you come up with ideas, come back. I'm curious. I'd love to know.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, though. Anybody else on this topic? All right.
Mr. Mayor, we did have a speaker, Kevin. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a translator to come in today. I had asked him if he wanted to write any comments down.
Submit.
I don't know if he wants to. Let me check his comment sheet because.
All right. In the moment, and we're not going to pass him if he still wants to speak, but let's turn it towards the dais.
He did have comments that he wrote. He wrote that he would like to petition the council to incorporate He would like to petition the council to incorporate universal accessibility design requirements in all units, ensuring continuity of use regardless of tenancy, disability, senior citizen, independent living criteria, and require the owner to set aside 20% of its units to low income, fixed income criteria of 350% of federal poverty level.
Okay, thank you. All right, comments? Questions? Yes, sir.
By the way, I also concur with the traffic situation. I mean, Dusty and I were in those meetings about, 16 years ago. And that was our biggest complaint, that given the traffic on California, that schools should be moved to a different location. And the district said no. So obviously we're dealing with the challenges we warned them about 16 years ago. In regards to the project itself, and maybe you can correct me on this, but I recall when the apartments were built around that piece of land that's vacant, I was told was purchased for the sole purpose of being a flood control zone. Now we're building apartments in it. So what has changed to allow them to do that?
Okay, let me answer that question. Before this floodplain from the south side of Barton Road toward the north side across Barton Road, since then TrueMark had built a subdivision to the south, okay? In addition to that subdivision, they also built a detention basin and a storm drain system that drain the water into the river. So therefore, it intercepts the drainage that's supposed to come to the north prior to reach Barton Road.
I'll move the project if it's no other comments.
I'll second it so we can keep the discussion moving. First of all, I want to compliment that the proposal is very well put together. And are you guys the owners or I'm not sure who is. I thought somebody was here representing the complex.
Jay is architect and Doug is engineer.
Okay. But I appreciate that you worked with the Historical Commission and made some modifications that I'm sure were not easy to make and extended the development as well. So I appreciate that. And it's very well put together, very detailed. The only concern I had, I learned what Usonian period style is. I had never heard of that before, but I think I got a handle on it now. But I got confused between the number of units, the number of garages, and single car garage spaces versus multiple and carports. Now, my understanding at this point is that there are enough parking spaces, and I'm sure that includes carports and garages. I don't know if we're talking about street parking as well. We get a lot of complaints about parking issues in some of our neighborhoods or over the years we have. And so when we have X number of units and that doesn't match up with the number of garages, and then there's carports off someplace, how is that all going to work? So I understand that in totality, that the project meets the minimum standards of the city code. Got that, and we appreciate that. I still don't understand the math that goes into that with, we have 17 units here and 14 garages and carports, and can you help me understand? That's the big question. Then in addition to that, how will that work before, I don't even know whose district this is going to be in, but is that going to be, if I rent apartment 24, that a garage comes with it, or a carport, or I'm street parking? Because those are the kinds of issues that we end up dealing with.
Sure. So regarding the parking, all parking is going to be on site, either in a dedicated space or within a carport or garage. In regards to how the
So it is not including street parking.
There is no street parking as part of this project.
Thank you.
Each unit is assigned a garage space and or carport space, but that would be up to the property owner or management company to make those decisions. But ultimately, that the site does provide 10 additional spaces than what's required by the code. So we don't anticipate there being any parking congestion issues on the site, as they are mainly covering it. But yes, every unit is assigned a space, dedicated garage space.
So if I have a relative that moves into this project and then they go and want to visit, or I want to go visit them, where am I going to park?
There was guest parking as required by the code, and regarding how those guest parking is assigned and laid out would be up to the property management company.
And that's included in the 155?
That is correct.
So Thanksgiving could be pretty interesting.
Invite them to your house.
Yeah, we've got lots of parking. Yeah. That's my concern. And then the other, and I asked the city manager about this, but I looked at the plans, but I guess not in adequate detail. We also have issues from time to time regarding trash. It came up earlier. There are designated areas for trash, and when we're talking trash, are we talking individual cans, or are we talking dumpster?
Yeah, so there are actually 4 trash enclosures as part of this development. Each trash enclosure, as required by CR&R, will have 3 of the large bins, which would be the dumpsters, green waste, recycling, and then your normal standard trash.
Okay.
But the CRNR has reviewed the plans and confirmed that it would be sufficient for trash service.
Okay. Thank you.
I just had a real quick question. I want a clarification. Are we approving that recommendation from the planning commission about the west access or no?
That is part of the approval, since it was a condition that they recommended be
Okay.
part of the conditions of approval.
Yeah.
All it is a shared
Well, it-
Arco AM, PM, so that people can go through to go to the restaurant and the little gas station.
So originally, there is a west access gate. However, that was intended for fire access only. Planning commissioners had raised the concern that there was only one point of access for entry and egress at the site. Therefore, they recommended that fire access gate be turned into an egress or ingress access point for the development, allowing residents to either go off Barton or go through the development and onto California or back down to Barton.
which adds more traffic to California.
Potentially, yes.
And they're gonna park in the Starbucks. So, okay, wait a minute. How many parking spaces and how many parking spaces or how many units do you have?
So there are 66 units,
Okay,
and
66 units. How many garages for all those units?
It probably being actually, you're probably the youngest person here,
2 each.
Rhonda, but I'm going to say I'm probably the one that lived in an apartment last of all of us here. And I don't think the way a lot of them work is that's an extra charge to get like a garage
Yeah.
versus carport and whatnot. And those are the more expensive units. So people are not
afraid
going
of
to
the
automatically get a
parking.
garage.
I'm afraid of the impact you're going to have on the business. I know they want this, but
Well, what's interesting is this developer owns
that business?
owns that property.
And to quickly answer the question, there's approximately 74 garages as part of the development,
Okay.
not including the carports and
Okay.
obviously on.
And what was the 10? You said 10 additional spaces before.
Correct. So the code requires 145 spaces. That's the minimum requirement. The applicant is proposing 155.
Oh, okay.
He's probably actually happy about that.
Which also
entrance
includes
and exit,
motorcycle parking as
so
well.
they feed the restaurants there.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, we're still good with the motion in the second. I think we'll call for the question.
Mr. Mayor, I think the public hearing is still open.
Oh, okay. We'll close the public hearing. Milford, that was your last shot. I'm sorry.
Just a moment, I'll do the motion. Oops. I'm sorry. Motion is to accept the findings that the proposed project is consistent with the development density established by the existing zoning designations and general plan policies for which an environmental impact report has already been certified, and that no additional environmental review is required under California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Section 15183 of the CEQA guidelines, and to approve certificate of appropriateness of precise plan of design application PPD P21-247 for the review of architectural elevations and site configuration for a proposed 66-unit multifamily development consisting of 4 detached residential buildings totaling 65,926 square feet with recreational amenities, a detention basin, and associate landscaping improvements. The site is located along Barton Road, east of California Street and west of New Jersey Street within the high-density residential land use designation and zoning district and the Mission Historical Overlay District. Recommended approvals are based on the findings contained in this staff report and subject to the conditions of approval. I will take your vote, please. Try one more time, Obi. Oh, it's not good. Thank you. Motion carried unanimously.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item 3A.
That would be me. Excuse me. So the 2026 statewide the primary elections is scheduled for Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, where the city will be consolidating its general municipal elections, where the city will have 2 council district elections, District 2, which is currently held by Mayor Duper, and District 3, which is currently held by Mayor Pro Tem Ron Daly. The candidate filing period for nomination papers will be from Monday, February 9th, 2026 to Friday, March 6th, 2026. The office hours for filing on March 6th will be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So tonight we're asking the council to adopt 2 resolutions. One, calling the election and consolidating its election with the San Bernardino County ROV. And second resolution to setting regulations for candidate statements.
Okay, we have a motion. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I'm sorry, I didn't get who seconded that.
Well, it was either Rhonda or OV, one or the other. You can take them either way.
Okay, thank you. Motion is to adopt Council Bill R-2026-01, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, California, calling for the holding of a general municipal election to be held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, for the election of certain officers as required by the provisions of the laws of the State of California relating to general law cities, and to adopt Council Bill R-2026-02, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, California, adopting regulations for candidates for elective office pertaining to candidate statements submitted to the voters at an election to be held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. Let me enter the motion. I hope I got that correct. Please vote.
Was there some type of software upgrade or something happened with our system that?
We are looking at, we do have to upgrade some of our software because there's been some updates to our agenda software management software that it's, the software is not compatible or can accommodate some of the upgrades. So we are looking to make those improvements.
I was just curious because it seems like this system has been going down. Yeah, like it was working better when we first got it, and it had some glitches, but
I think
it's like getting worse.
I think, well, the agenda software, they've been making a lot of upgrades, but it's not the software. I don't know how to explain it because I'm not. Yeah, but we are working on it. We are working to upgrade it so that they'll run more appropriately. So I apologize.
Hopefully, we got a warranty.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the consent calendar. First and a second. Madam Clerk, when you get caught up. Sorry.
Motion is to approve the consent calendar as submitted. Please vote. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, on to old business, 5A, an updated report from Inland Temporary Homes regarding the lease and the proposed site improvements.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Back in November, I presented to you the proposal for Inland Temporary Home that will currently they're renting these first 2 buildings at the Heritage Park. The Heritage Park is on Mission Road, just east of Mountain View. Currently, they're leasing these 2 buildings right here and right here. Okay, the total area is about 3.5 acres. Okay, this area right here. So Heritage Park right here. And the current lease is 2 buildings. Again, this is front houses. And then in the back, there's 2 houses in the back One, this house here used to be just on Mission Road to the east. That's where Inland Temporary Home used to have the office here at this building. Also, there's another building in the back that when we first relocated by Lennar, it looked like this, and now we did a repair, and it looked like this now. So the two building in the back, before they can move in, they have to do a lot of renovation. The house is in a very bad shapes, and Inland Temporary Home went out and retained an architect that came out and take a look at the building and did the floor plan and came out with an estimate how much it cost to improve the Craftsman house. It's about 1.37 million. Victorian house is about 1.5 million. Total 2.88 million. So what they would like to do is they would like to get an approval from the city council to see if we can work with, they can work with us to see if we can have a long-term lease with the city where they will renovate the two building. Can we get back to the PowerPoint, please? And the area around the properties. At the November meeting, you have a lot of questions that I cannot answer, but tonight I have Jeff Little. He's here, and if you want to ask any question, he'd be happy to answer. That's in my report, so. Yeah.
Well, I think you should go over what the offer was again.
Right now, we haven't get that far yet.
Okay, I thought we had a proposal like a year ago or so.
Right now, we just have a
10-year lease and some other things, right?
Right, we haven't. That's what we would like to, but they came to you, and we haven't get that far to see how much it's going to cost to improve the whole thing. So at the first meeting, yes, we asked them, so they have no idea how much it's going to cost. That's why they went out and hired an architect to do the assessment on how much it's going to cost to the building and to the site and so forth.
I'm going to ask a question that I probably regret, but shouldn't we do that assessment to see how much?
Okay. Well, again, they have more time and
no, I understand
than I do. So
okay.
Yeah, we've had no formal discussions really about the property. It was more of a, you might think I'm kind of crazy, and I may be. We love the spot. You know, we were in the back home when it was further down in Mission when I started in June of 2011 at ITH. That's where, you know, that's where we called our home. We ran our 30-day to 90-day shelter. Once the houses were moved, of course, we started leasing them up. I think it's a great space. Obviously, it's in the special planning area. It's historic. It's a park. It's kind of a unique space. I took it upon myself. I think the city had gotten an initial bid or quote to do the electrical in the back house, the one Craftsman, and one bid for the electrical came in at like almost $600,000. And so it sounded like, informal conversation was that it's not possible for the city to invest in rehabbing these historic homes. So they're boarded up currently. I had the harebrained idea of, hey, what if we have a capital impact fund that's been allocated by the board, approximately $2 million. And my harebrained idea was, why don't we fix up the houses? We'll lease them up. We're a growing organization. We'll use it for staff, for admin. It'll be our admin kind of headquarters. No direct services will be going out of these buildings. And then, of course, we could turn it into a nice park and we could invest in landscaping. And so it's kind of built from there. But I've had no conversations with your city attorney, no formal conversations with JARB. It just kind of grew from there. So, of course, I had talked to an architect who we paid some money to, but they, as a nonprofit, they donated some of their time to create the really nice proposal that I passed out, I think, last year when I had presented. So we might have a little bit cart before the horse. Really, what I'm looking for is we're exploring. I want to partner with the city. I probably should have individually sat down and said, hey, do you have ideas about what this particular
property could look like. I mean, we're looking to be a good partner. We love the space. We'd be good caretakers, but really I'm looking for just authorization to say, hey, start having those official conversations with the appropriate individuals so that we can see if this is even feasible. I mean, is this even doable? And it may not be, and that's okay. We can continue leasing the front two buildings, and that's okay. So I know I'm kind of rambling at this point, but there's no official proposal on the table. This isn't a vote for what I had proposed. It was I was asked to, hey, put something together that might be reasonable. My board is aware, they're in support, but I haven't gotten official sign off on let's shift these monies. So we're still in the early exploratory phase.
I don't know if you can answer this question for me. This is kind of a legal question, but because that's designated as a park, does it have to be open in some degree? Are we missing the mark? Like, is there something we're supposed to have there to actually make it a park? Or are we okay? Because obviously we have a lot of historical stuff. There's a train sitting there. There's a bunch of other things.
Yes, and right now we use it twice a year. You remember Mrs. Jim Ship he does the history tour every year, and we have history fair at that location every year. So, and Jeff probably still willing to do that, work with historical committees. Yeah. And again, at this point, all I ask is for you to say, yes, Job, you can start working with Inland Temporary Home to bring back a proposal. I'm not asking for this is going to be a done deal. No, right now it's just first step. Let me put it that way. Yes.
Okay.
How many houses are you thinking?
Well, there's 4 currently
on the property.
There's 4 currently on the property. We already leased the front 2, the single story and the 2-story in the roundabout. And then the back 2 remaining houses, if you want to, Jarv, if you want to go back to those pictures, they're boarded up. They're pretty bad. The Craftsman's closer to being, this one is closer to, it has a new roof, new foundation, new roof. And I think that's about it. I haven't been in it in a long time, but that's about it. The other one was left open and it's really destroyed. Yeah. That quote or bid from the architects, I had multiple ones that wouldn't even bid it because they're like, I don't even know if the foundation. So we had a couple back out actually. That could be an underbid. It might be even more than the 1.5 million that's stated. It's a total. It's not good currently. So it needs a lot of work. So we would propose, if we were obviously investing the money in rehabbing, we would be open to leasing all 4 of them. Yeah.
And the windows, the door, that was just a vinyl that we printed here. Yeah. The city printed ourselves and we screwed them on to make it look nicer. That's all.
And what
it's a plywood.
And it's just the services. It's not housing homeless there.
Oh no.
Right? It's just the offices for doing the services where you do it. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, we're up to now. We were 59, 60 employees. Yeah. Wow. We just opened up a service hub in San Bernardino, about 10,000 square feet, where we do all of our services out of. So this is just our home, our roots are here, ITH roots are here. Our home base kind of corporate offices. We now have, an admin team and HR and things like that. I will say though, we're still 10% overhead. So you'll be proud of me. We run a lean, tight budget and so we're still doing really excellent work. We've just expanded services and service area. We also, families with children are roots. I don't have the percentage in front of me, but I'd say about 85, 90% probably single moms with children. Since we do provide security deposits and rental assistance and some temporary housing it can go up to 18 to 24 months. It's enough time for education, certificate programs. We do transportation, childcare. A lot of it's mobile-based, tenant-based, scattered site housing. So we're not bringing anybody here, right? It's all over the county. So we picked this service hub near the Highway 10 and is that 215, just because we travel, right? And so we were able to jump on the freeway and we can go north, south, or east, west and cover the counties. You know, as you know, I'm sure San Bernardino County is the largest geographic county in the country, right? So we're traveling all the time. All of our folks are traveling.
What was the significance of these homes prior?
One was Kunihara's, wasn't it? One of the homes belonged to the Kunihara family on Barton, on
the
Redlands
first one.
Boulevard. Yeah.
The Craftsman.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one.
I'm sorry, yes, that one.
It was on Redlands Boulevard.
Yes.
And I've heard rumors that the single story, that one was in a movie.
Yes.
Yes.
It was used in a
Nixon movie.
as his childhood home or something, I don't know. But yeah, they were historic to the orange groves surrounding.
Will you refurb the train engine also?
I want to paint it. Someone told me that, I think it was it
Now, if you could
Jim
put some,
Ship?
if you could put some,
Trot, we need
or
to
if you could
be
put some
at a
track
I think-
around and run it.
Choo-choo, yeah.
Run it
So
around with
I
that.
think it was Jim Ship. I was talking to him when he came in with the children, and he said the historic part of the train is supposed to be white and black. Well, I said, well, white and black would look a lot better over there than orange. Let us paint it. So we would do that. My dad's a big train guy. He lives in Michigan, but Andrews area, but he's a big train guy. So once we get it painted and looking nice, I'll make sure he comes out and gives his stamp of approval.
Yeah, I think back when we talked about this, whatever it was, a year, 2 years, whenever it was, I think our concern was just the long-term lease and, you know, whether or not, you know, that's a big project. And if you were to take it on and maybe not be able to complete it or how that was going to work and all that. But I mean, I don't think anybody in here is opposed to you guys having conversation and talking about it.
Further, it sounds, you're not going to find anybody else going to invest $2 million and fix those houses up. You're just not. So it's a great deal for us to be able to preserve those homes while at the same time provide and support a local business that happens to be a nonprofit. That's a no-brainer.
My only thing is that if obviously you're a business and you have to be a business and you can't have people walking in and out of your office space, right? So if we're refurbing these with a purpose, you know, that we want to show them off or we're going to let kids tour them and all that kind of stuff, I just don't quite understand. That's going to be an inconvenience for you. Unless
I'm
it's
open
limited.
I'm open to discussions. One of the ideas we already, you know, I know Jim and the school does, you know, this twice a year. It's, you know, no big deal. We're open to potentially, you know, weekend things. But one of the early thoughts, if you see just to the right, and I'm not an architect or an engineer, but if you see to the, how do you do it? Huh?
Over here.
A water tower?
Yeah, just to the right of the water tower, and it's not working for me. Oh, you gotta hold it. Just right in here, there is a potential discussion about a really nice walking path, DG, that would go back. Because if you notice, there's three, I think it's like 3.5 or 3.3 acres is what the current setup is. And then there's another 3 acres behind that.
Right.
That you would keep open. You had mentioned open space.
Yeah. See, where I'm going with that is that I don't know that there's any legal requirement. Honestly, if our goal is to preserve those houses, then it's better we don't have people in them, honestly, right? I mean, and especially if you're going to spend money on that. But, you know, that's what I just don't know. If it's a park, do we have to give people access to it?
I would love to start having the conversation, quite honestly, and start exploring what can happen and even some shared use space. I mean, we're a community partner and been here a long time. We're really open to, you know, good ideas that make sense. That make sense for the city, the council, for your constituents. So I know it's an important area over there, and especially with all the new homes and parks going up there. I know you got Powerline Park. I know some families that use that quite often and go into the other development. Tons of mature trees. They like to walk. I mean, Loma Linda is a very healthy place. You know, I work sometimes late there, you know, writing a grant or doing whatever, and I see people walking even, you know, late. It's a very active, especially when the weather's nice. It's just a very active community. So we want to support that, and yeah, I would love to, you know, keep the conversation rolling.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Have a talk.
I think
Yeah.
you have,
I say go for
nobody
it.
here's opposed to the dialogue.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
All right.
Next item.
All right, 6A, let's talk about our economic development project.
PowerPoint, please. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At the last city council meeting, Councilman Ovi Popescu asked me to bring back the what do we do with the grant activities and also with the economic development activities. So we work with department heads and came up with this PowerPoint. So to show that with the fire department, this last year we have applied for community wildfire protection plan, and we received $75,000 from the Inland Empire Regional Conservation District. We also tonight you just accept the tobacco grant program in the amount of $21,570. So we just awarded to us. We also applied for the fire engine through Congressman Jay Albinotti for $1.2 million, and we did not get that grant. For Public Works, we applied for a SCADA system upgrade with Congressman Jay Albinotti and for $750,000, and that is pending. We just received an email from his staff today that is moving up the ladder, so it's in the process. We also received a grant to put in the 5 bus stop shelters from a TDA grant through SBCTA in the amount of $42,000. And we also accept the CDBG grant for ADA ramps and sidewalk at various locations, $125,000. And that project is completed, and we just accept the notice completion tonight. We also applied for the pickleball court phase 2 and at Lyndon Bailey Park. We applied for $275,000, and that is pending. We also applied for a 2026 Growing Urban Agriculture's a program for $10,000, and that is also pending. So we are also going to apply for the splash pad at the Citrus Trail Park for $875,000, and that is also pending. Also a playground at Seymour Park and Hoda Crooks Park from Game Time Playground Grant for a total of $200,000. We're also going to apply for a speed feedback sign, similar to what we installed on Van Leuven, from Office of Traffic Safety, OTS, for $50,000, and a sign at South Hill Trail for $25,000. And this is all pending, so either we already applied for it or we are waiting for it. For the fiber optic, we also applied for fiber optic expansion through Congressman for $960,000, but we did not get that grant. For the Community Development grant, Department, we have a new restaurant grant program for $30,000 that we received from Board of Supervisor Don Ralph, or Rowe. And also, we also get working on getting a grant from SBCTA for a planning grant for $250,000. Okay, next I will have Lorena present what's going on with the economic development.
Thank you, Jarb. And just as clarification, the $250,000 grant from SBCTA, we were awarded it, but we are not managing it. It's managed through SBCTA, so they will pay the consultant directly. That's why it didn't go before you. And we had our second meeting today, and they're going to help and assist us with implementing all of the housing programs that we've listed and adopted through our housing element. So in terms of economic development activities, as you know, the city does not currently have an assistant city manager or an economic development department. So as a result, the planning department has both stepped into and inherited many of the city's economic development responsibilities. We've taken a very proactive approach to ensuring economic development efforts continue to move forward. Over the last year alone, some of the major initiatives our department has managed include seeking proposals from billboard companies as a new method of generating ongoing revenue for the city, participating in the county's Economic Development Roundtable, where we collaborate with economic development directors to hear about the best practices and partnership opportunities. Administering the city's restaurant grant program, as Jarb just mentioned. We have 3 applications in the works, so that might be closed any day now. Helping develop the city's new economic development marketing brochure, which we use when meeting with potential investors and business owners to communicate why Loma Linda is a smart place to invest. Partnering with Inland Empire Film Services to create a new film permit process and ensure Loma Linda is on their radar as a filming location, opening the door to additional economic activity. Expanding the city's social media presence to better highlight Loma Linda's strengths and opportunities. Working again with CGI Digital a couple years ago, I showed some of the 1-minute videos that they helped produced at no cost to us. Well, we worked with them a couple months ago, and they produced 2 additional videos for us, one focusing on Blue Zone identity, because that is what the council has been asking for, and the other one focuses on city services. And one other thing that we worked on and that we're very proud of, and it's basically complete, it's in the final stages, is our brand new economic development website, which should go live any day now. So we're gonna show on the screen the website, I believe first, if Lynette, if you can put that up. We've been working with a Team Marketing Alliance. They've done some of our adjacent neighbors' economic development websites. So this is what we have in place. It's pretty much ready to go. We're just working on the domain name and trying to see if we can purchase it. As you'll see, and Lynette, if you just stay at the top, and I don't see it moving right now, but it's actually a looping video. We worked with a videographer and we went around to many of the major businesses and developments across the city. So unfortunately, the looping video is not showing in this system, but if you go at home and look at it, you'll be able to see it. So if you can just click around for 30 seconds, Lynette, and some of those top tabs to see what kind of information we are providing. All of the content is in there. Click on, yeah, you can just go through that. And then after that, if you can click on competitive advantages in the strategic or featured sites, and just scroll down. So basically, with the team and we've reached out to everywhere we saw signage of availability, and we worked with each and every one of those property owners to get their marketing brochure and their information on the site so we can start highlighting and assisting them to promote their properties as well. Listing some of the top industries, ways to grow here, showing them how we can help them, the services that we provide, links to like our GIS data hub, which you saw a presentation a few months ago too, stuff that we know that's going to be very helpful for potential investors and future businesses.
Is that the permanent URL that's up at the
No, it's not. It's not. So I said we're working on a domain name, seeing if we could access it. And also there's new law coming up that requires us to be a .gov. So that's some of the issues we're working through too. But once we get that, it'll be up the next day. And so the next 2 things that I wanted to show you were the 2 new videos. Again, it's only weeks old. But they're 2 different companies. This is with Marketing Alliance, the actual website, and the other ones are the videos, the 1-minute videos that highlight all the greatest things about Loma Linda. So she'll start with, I believe it's the Blue Zone video. Again, this is at no fee to us, so we were able to get money that is paid through this organization to fund this. Okay.
Welcome to Loma Linda.
Oh, not that one.
I'm Lorena Matarita.
Stop that. Let's not look at me. This is not the Blue Zone one. So previously, our ACM did the welcome and introduction. I took over as we replaced his.
Loma Linda is proud to be one of the world's official Blue Zones, places where people live longer, healthier lives. Much of this longevity is rooted in a healthy, community-centered lifestyle. Many of our large Seventh-day Adventist community follow a plant-based diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and related foods to help reduce the risks of chronic disease. Here, active living is a way of life. Residents and visitors enjoy various recreational options, including over 80 walking and hiking trails, strong social connections, and a faith-based lifestyle that values rest, purpose, and emotional well-being. We're home to leading medical institutions like Loma Linda University Medical Center and Children's Hospital, as well as the Veterans Affairs Hospital System, champions in disease prevention and whole-person care. Visit Loma Linda today and discover a community where health, purpose, and longevity are a way of life.
And the next one will be the city services. And we just got these formal links yesterday, so now we'll start posting it on our website, on our social media.
In Loma Linda, city services are powered by caring, talented professionals. From smooth streets and well-kept trails maintained by our public works team to clean, reliable drinking water provided by our water division, we're passionate about keeping the city at its best. Our fire department, in partnership with the county sheriff's department, ensure Loma Linda remains a safe place to live and grow. With fiber optic internet, we can provide high-speed connections to homes and businesses across the city. Our finance department offers friendly support for utility billing and customer service, while community and economic development teams help guide entrepreneurs through approvals, bringing visions to life. Behind the scenes at City Hall, dedicated staff work to make the processes seamless. Loma Linda is committed to delivering exceptional services that support a safe, connected, and thriving community, and we're proud to welcome you to the place we call home.
So that's some of the many things that our staff is working on in terms of economic development.
Those are really cool, actually.
Thank you.
Good job, thank you. Okay. Ovi, any questions? Yes, sir.
Thanks for the report. You may already be thinking about this, but one thing that we may want to partner up with is some of the landowners and at least the commercial developers. I know Lewis Homes has a piece of property over by the VA. They might be able to partner up with you, and maybe you guys can jointly attend ICSC, I think it's called, which happens to be the commercial the premier. Okay, we've always had someone there. Maybe you guys will send someone this year and just partner up with some of the landowners, because I think there's an opportunity to maybe entice and promote some of the facilities. Otherwise, great job.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to 6B. Let's talk about a community survey.
So we had talked with Jarb recently about developing a community survey for the residents in City of Loma Linda, and possibly also like employees or people that may come to work here in Loma Linda. And so that's where we were trying to get direction on whether to hire or who to hire. I know even Andrea had a possibility of someone that could do it. But we need to give direction to Jarb to do it. And I think it's a good time, because this may also be important if you guys want that we funnel this into like a strategic plan, like a 5-year strategic plan, what we want for the city, where we're going to go. I think the community survey would be a great tool to help drive that.
Yes. Thank you, Councilwoman. So what we did is, first, she mentioned the City of Redlands, so we went out, take a look at City of Redlands, a survey that they did 2 years ago at a cost of $68,000. And I look at it, it's okay.
It's not great.
So and then they also have the same consultant to upgrade the survey again for this year. So in the meantime, I talked to Councilwoman, and she said, well, maybe the university can help. So she have a couple of students that can work with us. Of course, I have to pay them a little.
It was like a stipend, but I think in the end, it's more probably the council may want more of an outside of Loma Linda perspective, like hiring a firm or hiring somebody. And I think Andrea may even know somebody that does this for a living.
Well, the problem is if you hire somebody, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we,
you know what? You said 68,000 in Redlands, and they're
Yes.
twice or 3 times the population. So it
It
should.
may be like
in-
30,000
In
is what,
theory, it should be a lot less.
At this point, I like the second idea better to see. Again, we
Well,
all live here in
so-
town.
Hold on. Yeah. I would suggest we look at a professional company. That way, the results are not questioned, right? We're not. Nobody can say, hey, there's influence from one group or another, or anything like that. I think you need to look at somebody and then craft it the way you want it, and pay for that service. Go ahead.
Okay, then what I will do is I will send out some requests for proposal and get the company, get the price. But because right now I'm working with Sonia and our department head on a mid-year budget review, and I have a lot of tough decisions to make. So before I go out and hire a consultant, I prefer to take care of our current business first, and so that's my plan.
I really like the idea of a 5-year plan. That's an excellent idea, Rhonda. I think that's something that we should really consider and start planning maybe some workshops, and maybe you start with the data first, and then we get together as a council and really start planning that out. That's a really good idea.
I think that's the other thing maybe Jarb can look at is, we want a consultant even for that? Because I think there's consultants that come in and help you do these events or strategic plans. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I got a green light here. Okay. I agree that it's not enough to just hire a consultant. Who you hire, what kind of track record, and what kind of fit they are. I mean, and it's going to cost money. I mean, you don't make money unless you invest work and invest some money typically as well. So we need to decide if this is a priority and what kind of budget we have to make it work. I've heard from multiple people, and I think everyone else on the dais has as well, about how they appreciate healthcare, they appreciate some of the services and the parks and so forth with the city of Loma Linda. But a lot of them say, if I really want some entertainment or high-end meals or whatever, I go to Redlands. And that's where all my classmates go, or that's where all my friends or neighbors go. I'm not saying that means we need to start doing anything dramatic, but there are strategic ways to do this. And at Omnitrans, several years ago, when we had a change in leadership at Omnitrans, one of the things that the new CEO did is worked with her staff and interviewed and brought in a consulting firm. I've been through a number of strategic planning processes in different places. I'm certainly not an expert, but these guys were good. They knew their stuff. They got excellent participation from both staff as well as administration, as well as the board. And it was very, very effectively run, and it has helped turn Omnitrans around in some ways. The strategic plan they have, I can give you a copy of it. I've got multiple copies. So I don't think it's something that we're just going to decide tonight, but I think if we're serious about more economic development, this is a good start to begin to tap in to media and IT. And I'm also impressed with what Lorraine and her team have done. But if we're serious about a 5-year strategic plan, we need to get somebody with some expertise and experiences and experience and references, and then make a decision as to what we're really looking for from them over what period of time and what kind of budget it'll take, et cetera, et cetera. So I take it seriously. I agree with the mayor and with Rhonda that, I think we could benefit from that. Now, the issue you're raising is the budget. And we've been struggling with budget-related issues and that process for almost as long as I've been on city council. So, you know, we need to make some decisions about what what our real priorities are, and then figure out how we're going to afford it. That's just my input. It doesn't change anything.
Okay.
But I'm assuming this is just for discussion tonight anyway. We're not looking.
What I can do is I can send out some requests for proposal and see how much we're talking about. So.
I think it's both for the 5-year plan, a strategic 5-year plan, the budget would be for that, and then for the community assessment survey.
Unless you can find a consultant that does both, or, yeah.
Okay.
There are some good ones out there.
Yeah.
I haven't paid any of them, so I don't know what they cost.
I think this is a good, and this can be really something good for our community too. It'll allow more community input, you know, because it is kind of hard to interact with us on a regular, and this would give us some idea of where the community's at, what they're looking for, what they want to see. So, yes, Dr. Rigsby.
I'm kind of old-fashioned. I think representatives are the ones who are supposed to get this information. I don't think we have to hire professional consultants to tell what our constituents think. I think that's our job. And I also believe you don't want to put the cart before the horse because, you know, we've got some issues that are in their pendency that would affect this in a very large way. So that needs to be sorted out before we go launching some kind of a consultancy. Because, you know, if they go into it thinking we're about to, you know, hit pay dirt and it doesn't happen, then, you know, the consultancy is wasted.
Well, I understand where you're getting at with that, but I think as far as it stands right now, we don't have anything on the horizon that tells us anything's going to change with our finances. So having a 5-year plan that's mapped out, knowing what our current financial position is, I think is beneficial too, to help us make better decisions. But
Assessment survey should actually be done annually. That's not that's just something either annually or every 2 years or it's just a good way to connect with community and see what they want. You know, yeah, you can go out and hear off the cuff a few people or whatever, but this gives a broad reach to the entire community. So it's a good, not only that, but if we partner with Shonda or somehow with the university, we can even see what people are purchasing here in the city or want in the city. So overall, you can't go wrong with a community needs assessment.
It's a fortune.
It won't cost a fortune.
A couple quick items. One is I agree with Dusty. We should know what our residents want. I mean, gosh, to do a good survey based on 25,000 people, you're looking at, you know, getting 400 really good responses back. Well, that means you're gonna have to send a lot of mailers. It's gonna cost, it's not gonna be cheap. I mean, I talked personally with over 200 people during my campaign. I have a pretty good idea of what my residents want, and they really concerned about public safety, road repair, traffic, housing, homelessness. They worry about the parks, they're worried about code enforcement, they're worried about water issues, economic development, it's someone worried about education. The gamut goes all over the place. And we as elected representatives use our better judgments to identify the areas that we think we can do and improve and work on within our budget. We kind of already know that. We're already spending a lot of money. The only other point I'm going to make is one of my funnest classes I've ever had in college was statistics. And boy, you can change statistics around and you can play around with wording that you can get any result you want. But it's got even more sophisticated. During Measure V, they did a survey. That wasn't a survey at all. They spent, well, in that case, it wasn't paid by taxpayers. It was actually paid by the developers. They spend most of their time educating the people about falsehoods. So you can use a survey and yet use it as an opportunity to do the opposite. Not get opinions, but give opinions. So it's very clear we're in the minority here. You guys can spend money as you will. So my only request is if you ever go forward with this, I want to see those questions. I want to see the questions because I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be very clear whether this is not a survey, but an educational effort to persuade people about, oh, you want a pool? Well, guess what? There's a way for us to get a pool. It's part of our favorite plan. All we need is get a little bit more money. You just need to pay a few more cents here, and we'll partner up with this group and that group. And before you know it, we have a litany of gifts we want to try to give everybody. Everybody has an opinion about where they want to eat, how they want to play, and how they want to take care of it. The bottom line is most people want to have their streets cleaned, public safety taken care of. They don't want to pay a lot of taxes. It's pretty clear. So that's my 2 cents.
I think community needs assessment surveys are actually a standard. and I think the last one we did was when, let me guess, 20 years ago when I did the survey and was in grad school. Yeah, it was with Floyd Peterson. And there's ways that you do a community needs assessment survey that's really open to hearing, and you can't be biased. And that's like the tenant 101 of creating a community needs assessment survey, is seeing what they want. And it's something that shouldn't be put off for 20 years at a time. That's not how you conduct community needs assessment surveys. So I highly recommend that we look into doing this and doing a good job. And yes, everybody can give input on what questions we want. Absolutely, right? And if we don't do it, are we doing a disservice? Absolutely, absolutely. Because there's certain segments of the population that they're not going to come here at 8:30 at night and interact. And we're not necessarily going to run into them in the middle of the city. I mean, there's a number of council members I never saw in my entire 20 years of living here. So yeah, there's certain people that you may not run into, and the way you're going to meet them and reach out to them is a survey. So I say we do it, do good due diligence, find a company that's reputable and cost effective, and we do the best we can.
All right. Okay. Let's bring some stuff back. See what it looks like. All right. We will now move into the last part of the evening, reports of council members.
Just in the last couple of weeks, I've had several people, we've had a lot of rain lately, which is a good thing, and Loma Linda's looking nice and green. But I've had a number of complaints about the Southern California Edison easement parks in disarray and full of weeds. And one of the questions I've been asked is where those easements approach a street and then there's curb with grass on it, who's responsible for mowing and trimming that? Is that city?
Yes.
Well, I haven't driven around to check, but I guess there's some problems.
Yes.
But especially the easements. There are people that like to hike up there and jog or do push-ups on the machines or whatever. And so I have driven past, and they don't look like anybody's really taking care of them right now. And then I know we're short-staffed in Public Works, but and there's catch-up work to do because of all the rain. But some of those parks are looking a little overrun now too with weeds. So I'm just passing that along because I know you're short-staffed in Public Works. Okay. I recognize that.
Hey, speaking of Edison, I got some notices last week about some potential public safety power shutoffs. And then my power actually went down for about 20 minutes or so last week and then went back up. So did anybody else get those? So we're going to start getting those again here pretty soon. And remember how upset people were with that, and we have no control. Some of us spent hours and hours on those phone calls with Edison and all that stuff, and we know that they're now taking the rap for some of those fires in LA and whatnot. So This isn't a public service announcement, but the reality is we're going to be heading into that stuff again here pretty soon. And last year was kind of rough, so.
Yeah, we have nice rain and sunshine, rain and sunshine. So yes, the weed will be growing.
But the wind, and it was
The
blowing.
wind too,
That's the
yes,
problem.
yeah.
The wind. Anyway. Any other comments? All right, seeing none, reports of officers.
Nothing. Oh, you do? Yes, you do.
Okay, sorry. I do have two items. On December 17th, the city received a notice of intent to circulate a petition for the purpose of increasing the sales tax by 1 cent by one proponent, Ryan Sinclair. Ballot summary was prepared by the city attorney on December 18th, noting the ballot measure proposes a general purpose tax rather than a special purpose tax, which will require a simple majority vote for adoption. The notice of intent, ballot title, and summary was published December 25th. So the first day for the to file petitions is eligible after publication as of December 26th. I know the intent was to get that on the June 2nd election. So, sorry. So the deadline to submit the resolution to the county ROV is March 6th. So if we get the petitions submitted and and they're sufficient, we may have to hold a second meeting in February to adopt the appropriate resolutions to submit, so we can submit them to the ROV by March 6th. So that was my first item. And then the second item is the Chamber of Commerce is having their community awards and installation dinner on Thursday, January 29th at 5 p.m. at the Town Place Suites. The city will cover the cost for any council members who want to attend. However, the council members will be responsible for paying for any of their guests that they bring. And just a reminder, there were some certificates to be signed by our council members. If you're able to do that, we appreciate that. So we can, because we'll have our presentation, our employee awards presentation on March the 5th, I believe. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Can you kill the mics? Thank you.